Wrestling fans, we missed him in Tampa, but have no fear. Demolition Axe, the masked superstar, one half of the greatest tag team in WWE history, returns to MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts for two big nights. Saturday, May the 22nd, Sunday, May the 23rd. Axe will be taping historical episodes of Wrestling Insiders along with live shows featuring cyber autograph signings. Demolition Smash signed a limited number of photos when he was with us in Florida. Axe can add his signature to give you a beautiful collectible. Head on over to bostonwrestling.com to pre-order yours now and keep wrestling legends working. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston Wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders Stern But Fair. It is Sunday, May the 16th, 2021. It is WrestleMania Backlash weekend as WWE attempts to whore out as much on the WrestleMania name as humanly possible. I'm Dan Marty, joined by longtime close personal friend, not just the former MWF Heavyweight Champion, but the first Boston Wrestling MWF Heavyweight Champion, now a member of the Board of Directors, Mr. Tiger Mulligan. Tiger, we welcome you again to our humble abode, at least via telephone, podcast style.
Bro, it's another week gone, another week down. I got my PBR seltzer ready to do this podcast because we got a lot to talk about.
What is PBR seltzer?
Oh, it's only the greatest drink that you could possibly get. It's got 8% alcohol by volume. It's got no fat, no protein, no sugars. It's the greatest thing alive going right now. Great for that summer weather that I'm getting ready to enjoy.
Now, it sounds like you're whoring this drink out. Now, do you have some kind of financial investment in it?
No, but you
Do you
never know.
work for them?
I don't work for them, and I don't have any financial investment with them. However, you never know what might happen down the road if they're ever looking for somebody to sponsor them. I'd be more than happy to throw a read or a praise here and there.
Well, I know you, and I know you have a very entrepreneurial mind. I thought maybe there was something going on there that I didn't know about. It's called PBR.
Pabst Blue Ribbon. You know Pabst Blue Ribbon. Come on, they've been around for ages.
I didn't know the slang for it.
Slang. I mean, come on, Mr. Marty.
I didn't know the slang for it. Well, you know me. I like the harder stuff.
Yeah, you like the harder stuff, your milk and bottled water.
No, not milk and bottled water. Definitely not. Definitely not. I've never been a beer or a seltzer guy, but I'm glad you're enjoying the fine life down in wherever you may be. I know you're not in your native Jersey right now. Is that true?
No, I am in my native Jersey.
I thought you said you had big travels ahead this weekend.
I do have big travels ahead, and that's just for the family. I'll keep that on the down low, but I got some big travels, but it's only for a couple days, so it's nothing crazy.
All right. Well, we had to pre-tape this episode. It was certainly an interesting week in the world of professional wrestling. I know May has surprised me as far as the metrics go. I know April was going to be down because of our extensive travel down to Tampa, but we're trying to get things rocking and rolling in the month of May, folks. Again, we're about halfway through. The eBay store is open 24/7. The link can be found in the description box below. And we're not just looking for fans and friends. We are looking to grow the Boston Wrestling MWF family over on Patreon at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, where you get early ad-free access to all the Wrestling Insider in-studio talk shows. You get access to our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library that's been seen by millions online and millions more on The Howard Stern Show. Thanks to Sheiky Baby, you get some Patreon exclusives, and you get the knowledge that you, yes you, are helping keep professional wrestling legends during the worst of times have that extra income come their way. Again, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. You can also help by sharing a link to these fine videos, giving us a big thumbs up, and subscribing to the YouTube channel. It is absolutely free for over 2,000 of the finest free videos you can find in the world of professional wrestling. So Mr. Mulligan, the Tiger himself, I don't want to get Carol Baskin after me. What is going on in the King of Sports this week?
Well, you know what? First off, we got to go back to last week. So just to do a little housekeeping, if you will.
All right.
We need, I've been getting some feedback on some of the things that we talked about, and we had mentioned the women last week, and we were talking about having their own show and where they stand on the whole grand scheme of things. And I guess maybe I came off like I was hating on the women.
More than me.
Well, I mean, it's funny.
Usually it's the other way around. I usually get the beaten, and the other, whoever I'm with is the one that comes off is the baby face. So I'm impressed.
So I have to maybe apologize if I came off that way, but
no.
Listen, I don't hate the women. I don't hate the product. I don't hate that, because if I did, I wouldn't be doing this show. I wouldn't be a lifelong fan. However, some of the things that were said, are my opinion and my opinion only. But it's, I guess the big thing that they were saying, or that some people were saying, is that I mentioned, the way they look and they're not in shape and this and that. And I said, listen, if I'm talking about wrestling as a whole, I'm talking about both men and women and commentators and referees and whomever. It's not just the women that need to be in, top physical condition. The men also have to also.
Correct.
So, I'm not hating on just them. However, I'm going to call a spade a spade. If I think your gear looks bad, namely somebody like a Nia Jax, yeah, your gear looks bad. It makes you look terrible. Find something different. Enough is enough.
If you look like a giant package of hot dogs at the supermarket, shrunk wrapped, maybe it's time for something new.
Exactly. And stop listening to the people that say that you look good, because it's not happening for you. But at the same token, if you look good, I'm going to tell you look good. Charlotte hasn't looked any better as of late. She looks Charlotte
in her new face that supposedly doesn't exist.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, when you can see somebody that's clearly been putting time in the gym and effort and energy into their physical condition and how they come off on TV. To me, that's a pat in the back, and you deserve everything that you get. But if you're just going to sit on the couch and hope for something big to come to you, then I don't know what to tell you. But just wanted to clear that up a little bit. I don't just hate on the women. I'll hate on the men as well. If you don't look good, if your gear looks bad, if your presentation sucks, I'm going to let you know about it. On the same token, I'll be fair and let you know if you're doing a good job as well.
Stern but fair.
Exactly.
Well, I think the thing is, whether you are male, female, or you're one of those that I guess go by gender unidentified or whatever the term is.
Oh, God.
It is a physically cosmetic business. If you don't want your physical appearance to be criticized, you're in the wrong profession, my friend. It is what it is.
If it's the character, I get it. If your character is for you to be a sloppy, out of shape, whatever, like I say, a bastion booger, then I understand it. But if you're supposed to come off as a top star and a top athlete who's supposed to be in tip-top condition, then you better look that way.
Right. And 95% of the people in this industry, let's face it, they are supposed to come off as physical athletes.
Exactly.
Or at least give the impression that they're physical athletes.
Yeah, I just don't know when everybody got so lazy. I don't know when, guys stopped shaving their chest hair and their arms or whatever. I just think it looks sloppy. It looks I don't even know how to explain it really. It looks like some ratty old bum during like the old YouTube bum fights. It just looks bad. Like, put your presentation out there that's going to sell. And
that's what WWE has turned into, bum fights.
I mean, a lot of it has. Look at it. I mean, it's. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Well, you've kind of piqued my curiosity now.
I just, you know what it is? It's not pro wrestling anymore. So Vince McMahon years ago coined the term, sports entertainment, right? Yeah. But it's not even that anymore. I don't know what it's come down to. I don't know if there's a new name for it that anybody hasn't thought of yet. But to me, a lot of it right now is garbage TV. What's compelling? Where's the storyline? What makes you want to tune in every week?
What makes you want to tune into the pay-per-view tonight? Is there anything?
For me, no. Not one thing.
And I tend to agree with you on that.
There's no surprises lately. There's no shock TV. Like, even I'll take the night after WrestleMania. It's supposed to be the biggest Raw of the year, and it was just lackluster. There was nothing.
Nothing
to write home.
Debuted, though.
Oh, well, I mean, God, I guess he could carry the weight of everybody on his back, right? Oh, terrible.
Poor bastard. He really, I guess he means well, but.
Well, I mean, if I was getting paid what he was, I'd mean well, too.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyway, the Adnan generation continues. Unfortunately, it's going nowhere fast. I continue to be bored with him. I'm sure 3 hours... more of them on pay-per-view isn't going to help, but you know what? I guess you got to start somewhere.
I sure hope he's not going to be the only the guy out there for the 3 hours. I hope they change it up every match.
I think Michael Cole is going to sound like JR in 2001 compared to Adnan Virk, but we'll see.
Slabanaka.
Vintage Slabanaka.
That's great. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Michael Cole. I like him.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad one of the two of us is.
Yeah. Anyway, but
so you got a lot of heat this week. You sound like me.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I don't mind the heat. It's I'm a heel by heart and by nature, so I'll take the heat. But let's move on. Enough of that. Enough of making fun of Nia Jax's outfit and the way she looks.
Like a package of hot dogs.
Yeah, I mean, you must really like hot dogs. It's like the third time.
No, I've never had a hot dog in my life, believe it or not.
Really? What's stopping you? Are you a vegetarian?
No, I am not. But maybe after seeing Nia in that outfit, I certainly do not want to try a hot dog.
You wouldn't take Nia out on a date?
No.
Okay.
Sure, she's a lovely human being, but you know what? I'll keep my Oscar Mayer in my pants, I guess.
Your cocktail Frank?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so last week we alluded to talking about championships this week. And, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to championships, but I just don't understand, and I'm not getting, Do champions even matter these days?
No.
I mean, belts are changed, or I'm not allowed to call them belts, right? I got to call them a championship.
Well, we can call them belts.
Can we? All right. So, well, no, a belt is what holds your pants up. That's,
Yeah. Well, all right. There you go.
Yeah, but
Canadian.
to me, a champion is somebody that holds the title for a substantial amount of time, carries themselves with high regard, whether it be a babyface or a heel, whatever, and actually brings prestige to that position that they're in. Right now, I just don't see any of the champions anywhere bringing anything to the table. It's almost like the belt is making them when they should be making the belt. And when it comes down to it, nobody actually holds the title long enough to even really bring anything to the table with it. So it's like, what's the point of even having a champion? I don't know. What's your take?
Well, I mean, the one person that I thought did was Brock Lesnar. I when he was around under contract, I could not see the purpose in taking it off of the guy. End of discussion. I think Lashley and Roman are both good champions, but again, that's one man's opinion. But I think there's too many titles for one. They pass them around too easily, second.
Yes.
And third, no one cares as a result of it. I mean, there was the big... I didn't run into the episode last night as I was at the good old Fenway Park, but I had no interest in seeing the women's tag team titles change with Natalya and Tamina, both of whom are very uninteresting. Defeat Big Nia and Herman Munster, Shayna Baszler for the women's tag team titles.
Well, it's too bad because you know what it is with those women's tag titles. They almost should just get rid of them. And I know why they
should have never created them. Is the problem?
No.
They don't have any tag teams.
That's what it is. It's just a mishmash of characters they're putting together and then say figure it out. But it just doesn't make sense that say Nia and Shayna were together. Like not for nothing, they brought Shayna up from NXT where she did fairly well, and then just buried her. And then all of a sudden it made her like a hooky character. Except for that one time, I think it was an Elimination Chamber where she just destroyed everybody. Destroyed everybody. But then what happened after that? There was no rhyme or reason to it. I think she lost.
Went back to being Herman.
Yeah, so they have that, whatever that is, and now with say Natty and Tamina, I get there's maybe a backstory there where third generation, fourth generation, whatever they are.
Care? Wow, okay, they're both second, third, whatever generation.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't. I'd prefer to see Natty by herself and Tamina, go back home and bake some cookies or something. But
that's going to get you some heat. But
yeah, that's fine. Let her. Let it get
me.
No, but you know what? You got to call a spade a spade. She can't cut a promo. She's got zero character development. Does she look menacing? Sure, she looks mean, but
who are you talking? Which one are you talking about now?
Tamina.
Yeah.
She's an island girl, or came from she's lineage of Jimmy Snuka.
Polynesian is the term.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not PC right now, but it's just she just doesn't have it. She never did have it.
No.
To your point,
I think she's on the Jimmy Snuka severance package plan. They really can't take care of Jimmy, so they figure, you know what? We'll throw the daughter a bone.
So then bring Jimmy Snuka Jr. back and do something with him and get rid of Tamina.
Well, you could always go that route. I don't know how active he still is involved in the industry, but maybe that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I thought she was kind of old when she broke in. I think she's kind of old now. She doesn't do anything to inspire in the matches she's in.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just don't get it. And you know what? At the end of the day, after seeing it for so long now, I really don't want to get it. I really don't care.
Yeah, and it's too bad because I think the majority of people are thinking the same way you are, where they just don't care, so they just turn it off. And it's just... it's so bad for the business and the industry.
Everybody on the WrestleMania, the 2 nights of WrestleMania back-to-back, the two people who were on both shows were her and Natalie Neidhart. I mean, what on earth does that say about the thought process going on within the walls of Stamford, Connecticut, or Tampa, or Orlando, or wherever the hell they are this week?
Well, that's the thing. There's no thought process. Their thought process is, we need to get everybody on Mania. Well, I'm sorry.
Put those two on twice?
No, but what I'm saying is that's their thought process. Let's get everybody on. So how do we do it? Oh, well, we're only going to have X amount of female matches, so let's just throw all the females out there in one match and then do what they did. But you know what? It's WrestleMania. It's the cream of the crop. It's the top of the hill. You're supposed to be, compelling storyline. You're supposed to be, this is what you build up all year for. So sorry, yeah, you're going to have some sad people, but not everybody belongs on WrestleMania. I know that, Dana Brooke doesn't belong on WrestleMania right now. She's not doing well. And Mandy Rose doesn't belong on WrestleMania right now. But at the same time, neither does Otis, and I love Chad Gable, but he's not doing anything right now, so don't put him on WrestleMania.
Well, there was
That's just the way it goes.
a lot of marquee talent in that Battle Royal the night before WrestleMania weekend on SmackDown, as well as that four-way. I don't know if it was this show or one of the shows where I couldn't believe that Rey Mysterio was relegated to SmackDown while Tamina and Natalie Neidhart were on WrestleMania 2 nights in a row, as Rey Mysterio is much closer to the end of his career than the beginning. But
right. And I kind of, maybe I understand it. They want to take somebody like Rey Mysterio, who's a huge name, and throw him in there to build up the match a little bit more. So I kind of get that.
Match?
Well, the Battle Royal. So they want to have some big names in there to make it seem like it's bigger than what it really is.
But it's SmackDown. I mean, who cares?
No, nobody does. And that's the problem, is that, Vince McMahon just doesn't know who to turn to right now. He doesn't have the right people on staff. And, I beg him to just get rid of the yes men and get some people that have the balls to go into his office and say, hey, this is what we got to do. Let's run with it. Take a couple weeks to run with it and then see what happens. But unfortunately, they're never going to do that because it's too it's publicly traded. It's too this, it's too that. And it's, and ultimately what it comes down to, and this will be a different podcast for a different time, but I think they're looking for somebody to buy them out, and I think they're looking to get out of the game.
You could see maybe Disney, or who do you think would be the suitor? You think maybe it would be Comcast, where they're so heavily invested in the company now with Peacock and.
Yeah, I don't know who that could be. I would
You
hope
don't know.
it's not. I would hope it's not Disney. Disney certainly has the money to do it. But then it just becomes exactly that. It becomes Disney. It's not wrestling at that point anymore. It's going to be cartoon characters. But who knows? Maybe that's what wrestling needs. They got to go back to the cartoon era where they actually have a gimmick, and it's not just people out there with black boots and black tights and calling themselves wrestler.
Well, I just don't think there's ever been a time where I've wanted to tune in less. Raw is just such a chore to try and sit through most weeks. NXT and AEW can kind of fluctuate. Out of all the 4 shows, SmackDown is probably the most interesting, but again, that's just one man's opinion.
No, and
I can
I
sit
agree.
through SmackDown the easiest out of all the shows that there are. SmackDown is the one I can generally tolerate the most. I don't know about you.
No, I'm kind of on the same boat where I find myself watching AEW more so than Raw. I don't think I can watch Raw really. I DVR it every week.
3 hours is just.
I certainly can't
it's
sit
too
through 3
much.
hours. No, if it's a WrestleMania, it's a special occasion, I can do it. But just a regular Monday show, it's just too much. They need to get rid of an hour. Or even what your idea was, give the women the last hour and see what they can do. But
Give the Divas a chance, baby.
oh my God,
Give it to them.
please,
Give it to them.
So they can bring back Kelly, right?
Well, they got Evolution or whatever her name is.
Oh God. Well, at least she looks good. Anyway, but get back. We got off on a little bit of a tirade there. Get
As
back
always,
to
yes, as always. Back to
Get back to
championships.
championships.
That no one cares about.
Yeah, it's just. I think there's too many. Can we do something to where we can just knock them down? Maybe just have one world champion, and maybe they float back and forth from TV to TV.
I've always been big on that
know.
idea. I would have one world champion, and then I would have Intercontinental on one show and U.S. on the other show.
Yeah, but get rid of the U.S. title. Why not make a TV title and put them on? At least you have a championship match every TV. And then you have your Intercontinental title, and you can do that on. It's on SmackDown now. Make your Intercontinental champion defend it every week. Make your TV champ defend it on Raw every week. And then, maybe it's something to look forward to. As many people didn't like the John Cena Open Challenge. I kind of liked it, or even what Cody
I liked
Rhodes
that
was
an
doing.
awful lot when he was the United States champion back in circa 2015 or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and it's, who
I
cares
thought he
if
did a good job with that.
Who cares if you throw a Mojo Rawley out there with him? It's a big deal. At least it's something new. It's something fresh. And, it gives somebody else a chance to at least get over a little bit. And gives them the rub be with whomever the champion is at that point in time. But again, stop flip flopping the titles back and forth. Make the titles actually mean something. I even look at NXT. Like I do like NXT's product for the most part. Some of the guys down there are pretty good, but their championships just flop too much. It's just too much back and forth.
And AEW, it's the same thing you have. My God, how many different titles do they have? TNT titles, FTW titles.
Well, I don't know if the FTW title's even recognized.
Why have it out there then?
Because Taz needs to get over in a time where he doesn't mean anything anymore, so that's just the way it goes.
I think he's one of the most effective promos in wrestling right now.
Nah, he's never been effective for anything.
Really? Well, we disagree on that one then.
Well, I mean, what was he ever good at? He can't work. He can just dump people on his head, or on their head. Like he just never had it for me. I never understood his character, and maybe it was the backstage stuff that soured me, where he actually thought he was as tough as he was on TV. And he thought his shit didn't stink when it came to backstage stuff. So maybe he soured me on that end of it. But
I think his verbal ability is fantastic, especially compared to the generic, boring promos that we generally get week in and week out on all the wrestling shows.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to put it that way, I'll give you that one. Can he talk? Sure. Can he cut a promo? Yeah. But he actually came from an era where they cut promos. He was never scripted, so maybe he had to learn the hard way. But overall, I just think that his stuff is come and gone. His ship has sailed, and he needs to move on.
Wow, how do you really feel?
It's this PBR seltzer has got me talking. And
the seltzer has got you all worked up. I'm gonna have to start trying some of that. 8%. Well, maybe that's why then. I tell you, I'm big on the one that he has in his stable that injured his neck. I don't know if I've mentioned.
Ricky Starks.
Yeah, so I guess I have mentioned it on this show. I guess he's injured his neck and he's out for a few months. But, I think he's not the thickest, he's not the biggest. But as far as the personality and the charisma goes, this is a guy that if I'm Tony Khan, forget about some of the other stiffs that he has up on top right now. This is a guy that I'd be grooming to be one of the future top talents within that promotion over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a sad thing that he got stuck with that Taz stable. If he had just stayed on his own, when I think his first match was against Cody, it was a really good match.
When he was doing his version of the TNT Open title challenge.
And because he could talk, he's got a good look. Yeah. He can work. His work rate is very, very good and it's very solid. But when you get stuck behind somebody like a Brian Cage or whomever else that's in that little stable, you get lost in the shuffle, unfortunately, and then he goes down with the neck injury, which is only going to set him back that much more.
Well, you never know. It could be a good thing for him. Maybe it'll get the Cage and the Will Hobbs and the Hooks out of their system, and by the time he's ready to come back, they'll be looking for something new. He'll have that fresh coat of paint applied to him.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Only time will tell.
Look at Tommaso. When he broke his neck, it was the best thing that ever happened to him. Look at Buddy Warbeard Hansen, Ivar in WWE. It was when he broke his neck, time-wise, it was the best thing that ever happened to him. They were turning him into a pimp with, I don't know, these reality show rats, and it was going downhill in a hurry, and you hate to say luckily that someone's injured, but you know what? If there is a time for it to happen, that was the time.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny. I totally forgot about all those things they were doing with the Street Profits, but that stuff was so bad.
That was some of the worst stuff of 2020.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it just made those guys look real. Like, they came in like killers, and it's so funny how 3-4 weeks of TV you could just turn somebody that was a killer into,
an
idiot. Yeah, to say the least.
To be kind, an idiot.
And it's too bad because, Hansen, I like Hansen a lot. I've worked him a few times. In fact, I think I actually had his very first match.
You did? Yes, February 15th, 2002 in Malden, Massachusetts. Yes.
I can't believe you even remember the date and where it was.
Look who you're talking to. I got the memory of an elephant.
But he was it Hanson Johnny Blue back in the day, huh? With the blue,
he did have the blue on. Yeah, I think he was Handsome Johnny at that point.
With
at least Johnny.
A blue singlet and silver short boots.
Yeah,
No, but he was great back then, and I'm very proud of what he's accomplished and what he's done, and been able to go overseas and really just live his dream of being a wrestler. And kudos to him. My hat's off to him. I
Now
wish
he
him
gets
nothing
to
but the
play
best.
miniature golf with the Street Profits.
Yeah, well, and you know what? And again, the Street Profits are actually, in a sense, entertaining to watch.
No, there's nothing
again,
entertaining about that.
no. See, I'll
It's
disagree
the
with you there. I
same.
think,
If you've never seen them before, or you've seen them once or twice,
yeah,
okay, they're a little fun. If you've seen them every week for a year, 2 years, there's nothing fun about it. You know every move. You know the next line of the promo. You know the next move of the match. Each one of them has their 2 or 3 moves and their 2 or 3 lines, and you know the cups are going to fall. Been there, seen that,
I don't think you're
done
being
that.
fair. I don't think you're being
How
fair.
am I being
because-
unfair?
Well, I mean, look at somebody like a Bret Hart, who was one of the best in the game when he was on top, and he had how many moveset? What was his moveset? You could call the finish of the match with his
You're going to compare the
backbreaker.
Street Profits to
No,
Bret Hart?
what I'm gonna say is what you said is that
Okay.
they only have a few moves and they hit them every match, and you could call a Bret Hart match to the T of what was going to happen. Same thing with Cena. You could call a Cena match to the T. It's 5 moves of doom. Once you got hit with them, it was the end. So I don't think it's totally fair to say that they're not. They only have a few moveset. Do they need a little?
For a
they need a
generation
little
of
more?
talent
They need a
that
little
has
more.
for a generation of talent that has nothing to do but train at the Performance Center, they should have a lot more variety than those 5 moves.
I don't know. I don't think moves get you over. I think character gets you over. They have that character.
All right, when you cut the same promo week after week after week after week after week after week after week, what is it about the Street Profits that makes you want to see them now?
Because Stone Cold said so. Didn't he say that week after week after week after week?
Well, yeah, like people were actually interested in him.
I
you're
know.
breaking him. I know you're breaking him. You're breaking
Yeah,
him. That's fine.
yeah. No, it's
part of your charm.
Listen, I'm not saying that they're the most over guys in the world. I do think that they're over. I think that their shtick is pretty good. Does somebody like an Angelo Dawkins need to get a better outfit? Yeah, I don't understand the basketball shorts. Maybe because he doesn't want to hit the gym and actually get.
That's
in shape,
what it looks
but,
like.
Yeah,
To the naked eye, but
yeah, it's too bad, so sad for that. But I think who's the other guy? Montez.
He's a hell of an athlete, but again, he does the same 3 things every week.
Yeah, he's
He
got
looks
a
like
nice
a
frog
big
splash.
stick. Yeah.
Yeah, he just needs to eat a little more protein and hit the weights a little bit more. Maybe he can get a little bit bigger.
No, I didn't realize quite how tall he was, but I mean, if he actually ever tried to get, beef up, muscle up a little bit, my God, he could actually have some appeal as, maybe a singles guy. But I think if you took could combine the 2 of them, the thickness of Ford and the athletic ability of, I'm sorry,
No, you get it wrong there.
I got it backwards, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
If you could take the 2 and morph them together, you'd have one pretty good singles wrestler, I think.
Well, I mean, we haven't even gotten past stem cell research instead of actually getting 2 guys, mixed together to make one.
Well,
so
that's a completely different story for a different time.
yeah, but I don't know. It's a difficult time in the world of professional wrestling, and it stinks too because you have so many top-notch performers out there, and they're just unfortunately the powers that be just don't know how to use them anymore.
What would you do with the tag team titles in WWE? Would you have just one set, or would you just keep it as is?
No, one set.
One set's
I think
more than enough.
If it was WWE, it's one set, and I would actually make tag teams. Like, I wouldn't put Ziggler and Roode together and say they're a tag team and call them the tag champs, because when they do that, they get the belts for about a month or 2, and then they're going to only drop them. So what's the point of it? It makes the titles look stupid. The New Day's been around a while, but they've been 85-time tag champs. You kind of see it coming these days. So I would actually get legitimate tag teams and just make the champions float back and forth. And
I would do
job.
that with the women's, the world, the women's championship, the world championship, and the tag team titles, and I would have some form of mid-card singles on both shows. I would do away with the women's tag team completely.
100%. Because there is no tag teams, there's no such thing as a women's tag team.
There's no women's tag team. Show me one of them. The only one that was even close were Those two that they got rid of that were horrendous, Billy Kay and
Oh my God, the
Peyton Royce.
Iconics.
Yeah.
No,
I couldn't stand them.
horrendous. No, they were great.
Oh yeah,
They
they're fantastic. They look like they should have been setting up skits at amusement park rides.
Maybe, but that was their stick. Like
No, it wasn't a very good one.
Unfortunately, when they're not together, they're not as good as they. Look at where they are now. Unfortunately, gotten released, and I hate to see anybody get released, but it's that they were really the only ones. But then they did the same thing in NXT. They got NXT titles, and they don't even have women down there to even have tag titles down there.
I couldn't believe they added NXT women's tag team titles again. For what?
To say that they did it, to say that they're showcasing women.
When you have a company that, or these brands that have 10 women, how do you create a tag team division out of it? Is where I get clued out, I guess.
Well, I don't know. I wish I had that answer for you, but
yeah,
they're just trying to draw at straws and again pop the rating for whatever week that they're in. And
there's no rating to pop. It's not going to pop. It takes the two things they don't have: patience and pacing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know where to go.
It seems like they're just trying to survive until the next TV deal, the next TV contracts come up with Fox and USA, and hopefully try and get the same money, if not close, or maybe, hit the luck of the draw again like they did before. My God, who would have ever expected such a cold product to get so much money from Fox and USA? I guess really, as the old saying goes, all you need are two people to bid, and you create your own little war. You know what I mean? If Fox wasn't interested in WWE, it would have been interesting to see what value Raw and SmackDown would have had last go around.
So do you think that if Fox doesn't take them over for SmackDown, they get the Peacock deal?
Run that by me again?
So do you think that, say for instance, Fox never came around and SmackDown was still on USA, do you think that the Peacock deal ever comes to light and they get the money that they got for this whole Peacock WWE thing?
I do, because I think right now where all of these streaming networks are all vying for as much unique, interesting content that people will tune in to buy. Better or worse, WWE pay-per-views still do have some value. To be able to have that as the exclusive home is kind of a feather under their cap.
Yeah, and I agree. The only problem is I think eventually down the road, it's going to be completely off of cable and going to be only on that streaming service. That's just my take on it.
Raw too, you mean?
Yeah, I think that they'll end up scrapping, say a SmackDown, and they're going to end up with just, say a Raw, streaming, whether it be weekly or I don't know. I don't know.
If I'm WWE, you know what? For the right price, anything is possible. But I think if you take yourself off of quote unquote regular television, you know what? That eliminates a lot of eyeballs from the equation. You know what I mean?
Well,
as far as building up a new fan base goes, I think as far as the pay-per-views go, I think it was a great idea because they're making far more money now than they were on their own with WWE Network. But as far as trying to take Raw or SmackDown off the air completely, I think that would be very dangerous, because where do you grow a new fan base from if the only way you can watch WWE is by having, streaming service X, whether it be Peacock or wherever it may wind up in future years. So I don't think that would be a good idea.
Well, I think eventually, the whole Peacock deal, and I don't know how many years it's for.
5.
But is it for 5 years? Yeah. So this is my whole take on it. So I think that they're trying to get somebody like a Disney to come in and buy it. And in order for Disney to purchase it, they need to see results on a streaming thing. So if Disney scoops them up, they know, what they're getting as far as putting them, say, on Disney Plus with their streaming service. And then, doing whatever, maybe you put them on. I don't know if there's even a Disney Channel on cable anymore. I'm sure there is.
As far as the TV channel, the Disney Channel goes, I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
I would assume so, but maybe that's the big play in this whole thing is, Vince, he's getting up there in age, and maybe he wants to bow out, on top and sell it, make a boatload of money, and see what happens from there. Then maybe, who knows? Maybe Stephanie and Triple H will create their own thing. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure no matter what happens, they're going to be tied into some kind of a deal. But then again, you probably would have thought the same thing about old Dixie Carter when TNA Impact, or whatever you want to refer to the company as, was sold to the Anthem Group. You would have figured that Dixie would have had some kind of a role, but they wanted no part of old Dixie. She went bye-bye.
Well,
Stick
but
a
I mean,
fork in Dixie, as Gorilla would say.
yeah, but I mean, was she really ever any kind of asset besides just the money she was pouring into the company? No, not really.
No, she certainly was not any kind of wrestling mind, to say the least. But, you figure sometimes just in those deals, they're given some kind of even an ambassador role, and I was a little surprised that didn't happen.
Well, I'm sure she got a fancy paycheck at the end of the day, and she doesn't have to worry about anything anymore.
What was that company worth, though? I mean, how handsome of a payday could it have been?
I don't know. I mean, I don't look into the logistics of all that. I'm sure you can find it online somewhere, but I have no idea. But I'm sure she wasn't going to lose. I mean, she was losing money hand over fist, or I'm sorry, I should say Panda Energy was losing money hand over fist. So she couldn't have bowed out gracefully enough to not take something from it.
All right, wrestling fans, I'm getting a cue from the back right now. We're going to take a brief timeout. When we come back, it's going to be part 2 of Wrestling Insider's Stern But Fair with Tiger Mulligan. Stand by. We'll be right back. Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marty.
And this is the man of the hour, Leo Rush.
It's all over BostonWrestling.com and our social media. But Leo, brother, they got to check out some of this merch.
They got to.
Check it out, fans, right now available on eBay. You can add this to your collection. Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this WWE NXT TakeOver War Games 2020 11x14 limited edition autograph poster signed by everyone on the event. Number 23 of only 100 made. Includes signatures from the Undisputed Era: Johnny Gargano, Damian Priest, Tommaso Ciampa, Timothy Thatcher, Io Shirai, Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, Dexter, Loomis, and more. Comes with authentication hologram on the back of the poster. Also comes with mystery autographed 8x10 and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now.
Cheer. Why, hello. I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insider's Stern But Fair. It is the love affair we are now having on Sunday nights as part of the Boston Wrestling MWF Shoot Interviews series, podcast style with Tiger Mulligan, the not only first, or I should say not only the former, but the first MWF champion in company history. Glad to have him joining the team that includes Oscar of Men on a Mission every Monday, the Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Tuesday with his classic episodes right now. Every Wednesday after AEW Dynamite, we have rotating legends. Last week, it was Demolition Smash, which was a very well-received episode. This Wednesday night, it's everybody's favorite uncle. Uncle Al Snow joins us from, down at Wrestle House in Tampa, as he now has taken over Ohio Valley Wrestling. Every Thursday night, it's the man that's been partying since he came out of the womb, Marty Jannetty. And then we wrap up the week with the father figure of what we do here in Boston Wrestling MWF, Mr. John Cena Sr., a man that takes his lumps and bumps with some of his honest thoughts and critiques on rats like the Bellas and many more. So we never know what to expect on these fine talk shows. I guess that's what makes them so much fun.
Did you say rats like the Bellas?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Well, they were the ones that got pissed on, so I don't know.
Oh, my God, I don't even want to hear about it.
Well, that's all right. I didn't do it. It was them.
Those poor mothers.
Mother as well. She married very well, too, so there you go.
Yeah.
The whole family, I tell you. It was like that show with Archie Bunker, All in the Family. Wasn't that what it was called?
Oh, man, yeah. Yes. So who's Jughead at that point in time?
Meathead, I think.
Meathead, or Jughead.
Probably
Meathead,
poor
whatever.
Johnny Ace. I don't know. Well, they seem like lovely ladies, I'm sure, in some way, shape, or form.
well, if anybody had the inside scoop, I'm sure it would be Cena Senior.
Well, I think I think Johnny was after the mother, to be honest, for a while, and
I don't blame him.
He wanted, I believe her name is Kathy Colase, Mama Bella, and he actually almost got into a fist fight with Papa Bella, the biological Papa Bella, at WrestleMania 30. It was the one I wasn't at, so that would have been 31 out in Santa Clara, California. Yeah, Papa Bella thought that Johnny was putting the moves on Kathy.
Really? That would have been a great. I mean, I wish I could.
It would have been better than half of the show. That's for sure.
I mean, what was 31 was when she got proposed to, or no?
Oh, no. That was 33.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. They were together that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least John has moved on to future endeavors, so we congratulate him for that.
Yeah, but so is she.
Well, she's dancing with the stars, all right.
Yeah, she sure
Anyone
is.
dancing with a payday is who they want to dance with, I think.
Oh, wow.
Like I was saying to Johnny, there's probably some aunts and some cousins. They're probably still looking.
And I'm sure he's always primed and ready to go.
Well, Johnny's been primed and ready to go, brother. Let me tell you that. I don't know how the glue on the top of that piece stays on.
Well, he is fabulous. Let me just say that.
He works the heat up, brother. He works the heat up. They're all after him. They've been actually, the USA Network, after the success that the Sun had on, I don't even know the name of the reality show that he co-hosts on TNT. I know it's on TNT because they advertise it during AEW.
He's doing Wipeout, right?
That's it, Wipeout. They've actually talked to Johnny about hosting the reality show on USA Network called Temptation Island.
No.
And I said, if that ever happened, what would happen is all of the broads on the show would forget about the guys, and all of the broads would try and get into Johnny's room.
Wow.
But we'll have to wait and see what happens with season 5 of that show, I guess.
Listen, when you have it, and you got to flaunt what you got.
That's all you can do, really. I'm still waiting for that opportunity in life, but maybe someday.
You never know. Just keep your fingers crossed.
My second half, I guess.
Oh, come on! You're way beyond your second half. You're one foot in the grave and the other one slipping.
Well, and I'm just following in your footsteps, brother. Don't worry.
I got 2 feet in the grave already. I'm just waiting for somebody to shovel the dirt on top.
All right. What else do we got going on Stern but Fair this week?
I just we talked about championships a little bit. We hated on some more of the women a little bit. I want to get your take on managers, and if you feel like you think that we can get managers back in the fold if they could actually do something right.
I think AEW's done a really good job with the managers. I think the managers they have are more over than the talent when you look at them. I mean, you're talking about Tully, Jake the Snake, Vicky Guerrero, Taz.
Jake the Snake. I mean, really, Jake the Snake is not a manager, and he whatever he does with that.
Well, whatever his role may be, I think he's more over than whoever he is representing. How about that?
Well, but that's not the whole point of the manager. The manager's got to get the other guy over, not get himself over.
I just think it comes with who he is.
Then don't put him out there as a manager.
Well, what would you do with Jake the Snake then?
I would tell him I would not book him.
You wouldn't book him at all?
No, I would keep him in the back and have him run promo class or psychology class or advice, things like that. Keep him backstage. He doesn't need to be on TV.
You think he should be more maybe of an agent type role?
Yeah, he's got maybe if you want to call it consultant, something along those lines. But again, maybe he produces the promos. I could see that. But he's not a manager. He knows how to talk for himself, but I don't think he could talk for this other big goof. It's unfortunate because I love Jake. He's a great guy, and I've actually got the pleasure of working him a few times. When he was
no-showed for us many times, so we had that great experience with him.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever was scheduled to work for him for you. But yeah, it's but I look at somebody, like a Paul Heyman, who I think is misused right now. Unfortunately, I don't think he needs to be with Roman. Roman certainly doesn't need him, at least anymore. But
I think it's a good fit. But like you said, I think maybe, I don't know if outgrown is the right word, but I understand what your point of view is.
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean. I don't think he's dying for him.
No, but he was brought in with Roman when Roman came back to get Roman instant heel heat, which that's what happened. So,
and when you have television sets, I guess you can create instant TV heat almost anytime you want to.
Yeah, it's true. It's just tough though because Heyman was so great with Lesnar, but that was the role. He actually got to be that microphone for somebody like a Lesnar who needed it because Lesnar can't talk either. But I just look at what happened to valets, what happened to.
You were a fan of the valet.
Yeah, why not? I'm a huge fan
of the valet.
I loved when Miss Elizabeth was out there.
Okay, all right. You're talking about pre-modern day valets.
Yeah, of course. But I was also a fan of Sensational Sherry when she was with Macho Man.
All right, you keep going. I'll go with that. One of the most underrated, I think, ever was Sherry Martel.
100%. But then you have your Bobby Heenans and even somebody like Slick. Slick was great to watch, man.
Well, I wouldn't call him a valet, but
no, but I mean, just we're talking, as far as managers go. I thought Woman was pretty good.
I thought you were talking about more, Lana
But who, like I'm saying, why not build that back up and actually give these guys somebody to work with? If they can't cut a promo, then give somebody that can. I mean, you have who's that kid on NXT? Rob Echoes? Rob Strauss, is that his name?
Stone. Robert Stone is what they call him now. What I don't understand is, and I will go as far as saying this was someone I like personally much more, I don't understand why where Impact Wrestling, TNA, whatever you want to call it now, will let other groups use the gimmicks that they create, which I think is ludicrous, but whatever the case may be, it is what it is. As Robbie E., he was kind of an over mid-card heel that you hated and wanted to see people kick his ass. As Robert Stone, he's just bland and boring, and I don't see any appeal in him as that. And I think DJZ, I don't even know what he's part of that little cartel group that they have in NXT, and it's fine. But I mean, as DJZ, he was this wild, colorful cruiserweight in a company that has a cruiserweight show that has zero appeal to it. Why not try and make him one of the central figures of it? I loved it. Hell of a nice guy, even though we had him booked twice, and one time due to illness, one time due to his relations with Impact Wrestling needing him at the time. Neither one of them actually came to be, but just a good person. He's battled health problems, and I'm glad he's doing as well as he is. I just think WWE could get much more mileage out of the two of them as Robbie E. and DJZ than they are as Robert Stone, and I can't even think of his name as whatever it is he's doing.
He's with that Escobar guy, Santos Escobar?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wasn't sure who you're talking about at first because I haven't heard of him be called DJZ in I don't know how long. Well, he was like Zima Zion or something, wasn't he?
Zima Zion, at first.
Oh my God!
I mean, I really, really liked him. I thought he was one of the few things about that era of TNA, the Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it, that stood out as good.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. And again, when Robbie E. was doing his whole Robbie E. shtick, but maybe that's what they look at. Again, it's WWE. If they didn't come up with it, they don't want to use it. So. That's the thing that sucks about it.
I just think that there's no color and there's no interest in Robert Stone.
Yeah, no, there's
one
not
man's
at all.
opinion. But
no, and I agree. I don't even know the females that he's got in his little stable. I don't even know who they are.
Rapidly changing. Didn't he have Chelsea Green before she got her trash bags?
Yep, and then I think he had Mercedes Martinez at one point, which I think very highly of Mercedes. I helped. In her training when she first started as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was training with Jason Knight when I was.
Oh, that's right. You were a Jason Knight guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I was.
Well, I mean, you were around. I should say.
I was around. Yeah, so she was really good, and she still is, and I love watching her on TV and seeing the success that she's had.
Especially for someone that's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, she is, and she's been around for a while. But you know what? She stuck with it, and she stuck to her guns, and look where she is. At least she's making some money for herself.
Good for her.
Yeah. But to get back to this whole manager thing, like, take somebody like Alana. Lana's terrible in the ring. Why is she a wrestler? Why not just keep her as a manager?
Well,
I don't
doing
get
the
it.
Brigitte Nielsen gimmick from Rocky IV with Rusev.
It was good.
It was passable, if nothing else. It
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
I mean, I didn't like the storyline with her and Bobby Lashley, but
please.
but there's just I just think that there is a place for that manager role. I think if you're gonna have a stable, so like you talked about Taz earlier, at least Taz is the guy that runs the stable, but he's on the outside of the ring, or he does some commentary stuff. That's the way it should be. It shouldn't be like I just don't like the leader of a stable trying to be like the top guy or the champion and things like that. It just doesn't make sense to me. And so you can't talk for everybody. You're only trying to get yourself over when you do your promos with everybody in the ring or backstage or whatnot. And it just looks bad. So, find some people. Buy some eye candy to put out there, whether it be male or female, and if they can talk, then let them talk.
I just wish they'd do away with the role of the diva altogether. Been
Really?
there, done. It's been 25 years of it now, and was it original? Was it interesting when they first started? Was the TNA factor something to make you, peel your eyes to the TV? Yes, but now that they've done it for so long, it's just so old and boring and stale, and I'd rather see the Jimmy Harts and the Bobby Heenans back out there actually trying to effectively get the talent over, as opposed to, this generation of garbage that we have to sit through now that's uninteresting and boring and isn't getting anyone over.
What about Matilda? Would you like to see Matilda out there?
The actual dog.
Or Frankie the Bird.
Well, I don't think Frankie's with us any longer, but you know what? He'd probably be just as over as Lana or Robert Stone, so I can't knock him too much.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just my old age starting to creep up with me and me just loving an era of wrestling that was just what I grew up on, but...
Well, you're trying to push these women. I'm trying to push just the opposite.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not. I'm just trying to push a manager, somebody that could be out there to speak for these people. So that way you don't need to get a scripted promo and you sound like a robot on TV because you don't know how to act and talk. Get somebody out there. I don't care who it is. Get somebody out there that could talk, cut a promo, and actually get the performer over, whether it be male, female, or bird or dog.
Well, I mean, if they have to go back all the way back to pets, I think we're really in rough shape as far as the future of the industry goes. But
well, no, doesn't I don't know. I don't know what she's going by. Frankie Monet now. Doesn't she have a little dog out there?
Oh yeah, that's right. She does have a little dog. Yeah.
So she's bringing it back for me.
Yeah, I see that gimmick going far. Oh yeah, please.
Anyway, I think I flapped my gums for enough time this week. They're giving me the Iggy.
Oh, really? Wow, we just about hit the hour spot on the nose. Well, any predictions for the big pay-per-view tonight?
I think that, what's his name? Jimmy Uso is going to turn heel and join his brother and Roman Reigns and protect the title. And that's going to be the end of Cesaro's little championship title reign or run or anything.
If you had any interest in it to begin with.
Well, I love watching Cesaro. I think he's great.
Yeah.
And even Roman. I think Roman is awesome too. But this whole thing, it's not for me. It's not compelling. Well. It's not compelling TV. But hey, if I'm wrong, next week I will stand corrected and tell you I was wrong.
What about on the Raw side?
I don't give a rat's ass about the Raw side.
You don't care who leaves as champion?
No. I mean, I hope, for champion's sake, I hope Bobby Lashley keeps the title. I think he needs to have a nice run with it. I think he keep it. As long as he keeps MVP talking for him, he should be the champ in the face right now.
Well, at least he looks like a professional wrestler and wrestles like a professional wrestler. And
he's believable.
Other than the line of nonsense, he hasn't at least been castrated too much like some of them have. But it remains to be seen. I would have rather have seen them hold off on Jinder Mahal and have him do a surprise run-in during the pay-per-view match and cost his former 3MB partner his championship opportunity. But
Well,
again,
that
that's
would be the
just
smart
one
thing to
man's
do.
opinion.
That would be the smart thing to do. Instead, they put him out there with two. I don't even know what the hell to call them, but they look terrible. They should have just brought the Bollywood boys back if they wanted to have an Indian stable. But I mean, like, they got this guy. I don't even know his name. Shanky, is that his name? This big tall goof.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Not for nothing, he tried to step over the top rope and almost tripped on his face. Like, he's got no muscle mass to him whatsoever. Doesn't look. He might be a tall motherfucker, but I'm sorry, he doesn't look like he can beat up my 7-year-old son, let alone somebody in the ring.
You're taking away from almost when you're doing that. You can't keep introducing too many guys of size that quick, or none of them are going to get over.
Yep.
Which is likely the case for both of them anyway, but that's a different story for a different time. Do you have anything on tap for next week for us? Any hints, if nothing else?
No, nothing right now. I'm sure something's going to talk. We'll probably discuss the pay-per-view. I'm going to sit down and actually watch it, or I don't know if you call it a pay-per-view anymore, but I'll sit down and watch it.
Peacock special.
Yeah. I'll have my popcorn and my Pabst Blue Ribbon ready to go, and we'll see what happens. I am. I like them. I enjoy them. In fact, the minute we get off of this, I'm going to probably
have
another
one.
I'll go pop another one.
All right, wrestling fans. Well, for our friend Tiger Mulligan, the former Boston Wrestling MWF Heavyweight Champion, the board of director that's going to help line up a tremendous night of action for you, 6 months from this very weekend, culminating Saturday night, November the 13th at Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts. I'm Dan Marty. We'll see you next Sunday night on Wrestling Insiders, Stern but Fair. Have a good week. We'll see you with our regular talk show Brood this week. Good night. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, Saturday, May the 16th, 1992. In the opening contest, Crush beat Kato. High Energy with the win over the Nasty Boys via countout. El Matador defeated Bob Bradley. WWF Intercontinental Champion Bret Hitman Hart retained the title over Shawn Michaels. In the main event, the Ultimate Warrior victorious over Papa Shango. Hacksaw Jim Duggan beat Repo Man via disqualification. In the Legion of Doom with the win over the Beverly Brothers. If you were in Richfield live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and in our world-renowned Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view, watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.